Do you
Welcome, everybody.
do you lock the room, Laura, or
They can keep entering as they come.
okay? Yeah, I was gonna say maybe just in case. Mhm.
Well, welcome to the yoga program. I'm glad for each and every single one of you guys to join us. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, we are going to leave some time at the end of the program that you could go ahead and put all those things into our chat box. But for now, we can have Lisa, our wonderful yoga instructor, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Laura. So please come to stand. If you are sitting, come to stand in a comfortable way. So this is called Samastiti, and the idea is to stand as still and presently as possible. So for some, that may mean bringing your legs completely together. It's much more classical. But for most of us in modern times, I would say it's best to separate your feet just slightly. Let your arms be relaxed, your fingertips very gently touch the outside of your thighs. And just drop your chin just a tiny bit. This might help elongate your spine. Feel your chest nice and open. And let's just stand here, focusing on our breath and noticing what your body feels like this morning. So have your eyes open, but lower your gaze. And try to keep your attention on your breath. And we're breathing in and out through our nostrils. Of course, if there's some congestion, please feel free to also use your mouth for breathing. But typically we would breathe in and out through the nose unless we have a certain practice we're doing. And then keep in mind, as we mentioned last time, there's this idea of being very present, but also being very comfortable and easeful. So we're always looking for this sort of balance in our yoga practice, right? We're very alert, but not rigid or anxious about it, just trying to be very present, very centered. Feel your feet in the ground, but at the same time, easeful or comfortable. And let's begin with a simple placement of our right hand. We're going to take it, and as we inhale, we're just going to tap a little bit on the center of our chest, very gently, inhaling and tapping. And then as you exhale, spread your fingers out. So inhaling, very gentle tapping on the center of the chest. And as you exhale, open the fingers, lay the palm on your chest. Let's do that a few more times. Part of the reason I'm doing this today is because the breath is very important in a yoga practice. And one of the reasons for that, continuing like this, is because it is one of the vehicles for prana, or a life force, to move on. So we're trying to remove knots throughout our whole system one last time, and then let the hand just lie flat on this area. Let's take our other palm and lay it on our lower abdomen. Just take 3 or so more breaths, freely inhaling and exhaling. And then again, come to Samastiti. And as you inhale, Bring your arms all the way up from the side, palms together if they come. Exhale, lower the arms down from the side. A few more times just like this. So we inhale, we bring the palms up. You can gaze upwards. As we exhale, we lower the arms down. The idea is to surround your movement with the duration of your own breath. So we're not holding the breath, but we're moving it. And we're moving with it. The next time that you bring your arms up from the side, we're going to stay there. So bring the arms up with the inhale. Again, if you can bring your palms together, do so. Not necessary. If you can gaze upwards, do so. So we're really using the eyes more than dropping the neck back too far. We always want to keep the neck in line with our spine. So use your gaze to look upwards. And then exhale the arms down from the side. Let's turn the right foot out just a little bit and step forward with the left. Hips are facing forward. Again, you might have to adjust that to your body size and frame. So see what feels appropriate. And as you inhale, we're going to bend the front knee and bring both arms up alongside our ears. We're going to take one breath right here. Again, the gaze is up. Try not to drop the head back too far. And as you exhale, straighten the leg and lower the arms. Same way. Inhale, bend the knee. Bring the arms up and gaze upwards. There's a little arch in your back. Taking a breath. And as you exhale, coming back to the starting position. Next 2 rounds, we'll stay for 2 breaths. So same movement, but we're going to increase to 2 breaths as long as you feel comfortable. And again, the idea is to move with your own breathing. So when you exhale, you come back to starting. 1 more round, staying for 2 breaths. This is one of the variations of what you might know as warrior pose. After your second breath, come down. 1 last time, increasing to 3 breaths. Remember, you can always stay for 2 or 1. And while you stay, give some attention to your front knee. Make sure it's more or less centered over the front foot. Feel where your hips are. Notice your back heel. Is it down? It's a nice long stretch from the back all the way up. Chest is open. And as you exhale, back to the starting position. Step back. And hopefully that's a nice smooth step back. If not, you might want to adjust your stance. Turn out the left leg, step forward with the right. And also keep in mind each side is a bit different, right? So as we go, we'll bend the front knee. We'll bring the arms up. 1 breath. And starting position as you exhale. Same again. The idea is that everything comes into place at the same time. So as you come back to the starting position, your knee is straightening, your arms are coming down. These 2 rounds, we're increasing to 2 breaths. While you're here, give some attention to your upper back. See if you have some feeling there that allows the chest to be open. 1 more round. like that. Lifting the arms, can separate them, you can bend the arms a bit. Remember, the idea is to find presence and comfort. This last round will stay for 3 breaths, or up to 3 breaths. Again, everybody's breath is different, so you stay connected and move with your own breath. And if you wonder what to do, because your breath might be shorter or longer, when we're standing, you can stay in Samasthiti. I find that this is actually, for some people, a very tricky pose because we're not used to just staying and being still, which is a rough translation of the pose. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways. And as you inhale, bring both arms up this time, nice and long. As you exhale, take your time and bend forward. Keep the arms alongside your ears as long as you can. When your head comes to your knees or towards them, let your arms rest. Let's take one breath here. You can have a little bend in the knees. The legs can be slightly separated. And when you next inhale, first lead with the arms. So meaning they come alongside the ears and you continue all the way up. And exhale the arms down from the front. Same way again. So inhale the arms up first, nice and long, what's comfortable for you. And as you exhale, go forward, bring your hands to the floor, your legs, a chair, take a breath. And then again, lead with the arms. And what this does is it helps lengthen in the spine, because we spend so much time rounded in our lifestyles. So let's do that a few more times. Up with the inhale, notice the body's open. And as we exhale and bend forward, our belly is contracting. Our spine is in flexion. And again, that can be at this point. And then lead with those arms and come up. And exhale the arms down from the front. One more round, same way. And then let's again step forward with our left. Our back foot is turned out in the same way. We're going to do what we just did, but only on one side. Again, part of the reason for this is when we do a pose on one side, the stronger side isn't necessarily compensating as it would when we do it on both sides together. So we get to learn a bit more about what's happening in our system this way. So bring the arms up with the inhale. And this time we try to keep both legs straight as we exhale and bend forward. Of course, it's okay to bend your knee or knees a little bit. Take one breath here. And again, with the inhale, still try to lead with your arms and come up. And exhale the arms down. So we'll do 3 more times on this same side. Try to keep the length as you exhale and bend forward. Again, place your hands where it's comfortable. If they don't come to the floor, make sure you're just not dangling somewhere. This is part of this idea of being present and stable in our poses. And if our hands are dangling, there could be some instability there. So 2 more times in the same way, going at your own pace, staying connected to your breath. Trying not to rush any part of the pose. Oftentimes, this first movement of bringing the arms up, or that last movement, when we just lower the arms, we rush through. This is all part of what we would call a vinyasa, a specially arranged sequence. So even here as we exhale, this is part of the sequence that we're doing, okay? Step back, take a moment, and then switch sides. So we're doing 4 rounds, same way, different side. And notice if you do or can any difference from one side to the other. Perhaps on this side you want to bend your knee for more stability, right? That's all perfectly okay. Perhaps you want to take a resting breath in between rounds. Always try to lead with the arms so the back is nice and long without being forced. 2 more times on this side. And while you're in this particular pose, even as you take the breath in, you might notice some lengthening in your spine and relaxing of the spine as you exhale. So this last round, give some attention to that, especially when you're in this stay for 1 breath. Inhale, you might notice your spine can lengthen, and then it relaxes. Come up on your inhale, and exhale the arms down. Stepping back. Let's bring our hands to the center of our chest or our heart center from where we were tapping, spreading that energy. Let's just do that a few times again. So your left hand you can leave right there, you can lower it, tap a few times, and as you exhale, visualize spreading your energy, extending your exhale. This is also a simple way to ground at any point during the day where you might find the need for that. And after you do that time, let your hands come down. Let's separate our feet quite a bit. Something comfortable, have your toes pointing forwards. And as you inhale, bring the arms all the way up again. Gently touch the fingers if they can. Exhale, just lower to shoulder height. As you inhale, feel your chest open. And as you exhale, let's twist to the left. Touch the left shoulder with the right hand. The other one is going on our lower back, wherever it fits comfortably. Inhale, come back to the center, arms are extended. And then exhale, twist in the opposite direction. Inhale back to the center. And then we're gonna exhale and bend forward. Take a breath right here. As you inhale, lead with the arms. Again, they're along the ears. Come all the way up and lower them down fully from the side. Just a side note, if you're feeling unstable coming up, you can always place one hand on one thigh, the other, and give yourself some extra support. You can always bend to a chair. So keeping the legs wide. As we inhale, first we'll bring them all the way up, possibly touch. Exhale, lower them to shoulder height. Chest is nice and open. Inhale, twist to the left, one hand on the back, one just touch the shoulder and take a breath here. The neck is okay, you can look over that shoulder, but you can adjust accordingly. And be sure you're not grasping the shoulder to try to twist further. All right, keep the hips centered. Come back in the middle on an inhale. And twist as you exhale, facilitated by the natural movement to the opposite side. We're just touching that shoulder, reminding to keep it back, keep it open, but not grasping on. Inhale, come center. And again, as you exhale, go forward. Take a breath here. Come up as you're ready. Lower the arms down from the side as you exhale. So sometimes we have habits. We're used to only lowering our arms from one way or another. Very intentionally picking which ways we do this. And you might notice, let's bring our arms up from the side. On the inhale, the expansion we feel could be in different places. So exhale, lower to shoulder height. This time, let's twist and stay for 3 breaths. Again, if you need to stay for 1 or 2, that's fine. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Perhaps as you exhale, you twist a little deeper. Be sure the whole front of the body isn't going with you, your knees. You want to keep everything nice and steady. So the twist is happening in the spine at an appropriate level for yourself at this moment. And after your 3rd breath, on an inhale, come center with the arms out. And as you exhale, go to the other side, 3 breaths. Always center with the inhale, spine is coming back to the middle. And exhale, bending forward. Same way, 3 breaths here. Remember to use your legs if that's helpful in coming up. If you're nice and steady, extend the arms forward and continue up. Let's exhale the arms just to shoulder height this time. Close your eyes just for a moment. We normally don't do this with standing postures. Let's just see what all this expansiveness feels like for a moment. And when you next exhale, just bring your arms back to the center of your chest. Let your palms lay flat here, drawing that expansiveness into your own system. And very gently taking your time, toe heel, to come back to the center with your feet. Clasp your fingers where they are over your chest. As you inhale, flip the palms, stretch the arms forward and up. Can release the clasp if that feels more appropriate. Bend the elbows if that feels better. Then as you next inhale, come up onto your toes, perhaps just a little bit, and take a few breaths right here. This is where you can certainly use a wall for support if you need to. The idea is we want our breath to remain smooth as we balance. It's okay if you come down and go back up. One more breath. And then bring everything down together. The arms from the front, flip the palms, lower the heels. Let's come down to the mat to sit back on our heels. And again, last week I showed you a variation, bending to a table. So if that's more appropriate, please do that. Also remember you can sit in a chair, but while we're down here, we'll stay for a little bit. This is called seated Vajrasana. So if you're sitting back on your heels, if you need a little cushioning to lift yourself a little bit, that's fine. Again, we're very alert, dignified, present, but we're also very relaxed and easeful in our posture. Let's take another breath right here. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, this is what we would do classically in kneeling postures. And as you inhale, we're going to come up onto the knees, raising the arms, a little arch again. And as you exhale, we're going to bend forward so that our forearms and forehead come towards the floor. This is where a little blanket or something might be supportive if your forehead doesn't reach the floor. As you inhale, come forward onto all fours, gently lift the head. And as you exhale, we're going to go right back down. So bring your seat down to your heels, your forehead, forearms down. I'm going to do just that a few more times. So as you inhale, you'll come forward onto all fours. And as you exhale, try not to round the back, but keep it long as you go down. Move like that a few times. We're also working in yoga to have some length in our spine. And since we already round our back a lot, driving, computers, we might not need to do that right here. So keep it long as you go back down. And let's stay here just for one breath in the forward bend. You might know this as child's pose or a variation. The next time we come forward, we're going to do a little variation. So when you inhale, come back onto all fours. Stretch out your left leg, not too high. Keep your hips square. And if you're stable, stretch out your right arm. Take one breath there. Head is down, Neck is in line with the spine. As you exhale, replace the limbs. Go back down into the forward bend, all on the same exhale. When you inhale, come forward and do the same on the opposite side. So it's opposite limbs that are extending. Right foot, left arm. And as you exhale, replace both sides down, back down into the forward bend. Come forward again, same way. Left leg, right arm, one breath. If your knees are sensitive, you can have some extra cushioning. Exhale, back down. And when you inhale, come forward. Right leg, left arm, one breath. But if it's also more comfortable to move dynamically rather than stay, especially if there's sensitivity in the knees, that's certainly fine to do that. And last time. One breath on either side. Continuing at your own pace. You can leave the arm out, you can leave the leg out. Be careful to modify. And exhale, back down. This time as you inhale, come up onto the knees, bring the arms up, same way we started. And exhale to the starting position. Let's lie on your back. And with the knees bent, before we take a little bit of a rest, bring your knees up, have your fingertips on the kneecaps, not putting too much pressure, pointing towards the toes. Legs are relaxed off the floor. If this is too much for your knees for whatever reason, sometimes people are super sensitive, especially with the change of season, you can simply place your hands on the back of your thighs. So the arms are straight, we're inhaling, so we exhale, draw the knees in, be careful not to pull, just nice guiding in, and when you inhale, guide the knees forward to the starting position. So each exhale, bringing the knees in closer to the body, the chest, each inhale, moving them forward. Hands are staying in place, so be careful not to let go so that you could stretch the legs out further. This is actually a counter pose. So we want the body to come back to center, to find some release of any knots that may have come from the previous posture or postures, giving ourselves a chance to balance things out. So one more round. This is called Apanasana. And that comes from the apana, which is our lower belly. So let your feet come to rest on the floor. Keep the knees bent if that's okay. Let your palms come to rest on that lower belly region, the apana region. Perhaps you want to rub your belly just a little bit. Make sure there's some movement in there. We're not holding it tight. And keep your legs there unless you're much more comfortable. You can straighten them out on the floor and bring your arms alongside your body, but slightly away from your body with your palms facing up. We're going to rest for a little bit, which is also a nice counter pose at any point. Have your eyes closed. If it's helpful to feel your breath with your hands on your belly, as we just did, please continue that way. Give yourself some time to notice how your system is responding. Knowing that in yoga, we want all of the parts to come together, right? So we have our body, our breath, our mind. There are also some other parts. We want our system to be present, to be easeful. So while you continue to observe your own system, I'd like you also, using another tool from yoga, which is visualization, to have a sense of the full moon, the harvest moon, that we just hopefully saw or experienced in some way that is positive. You can visualize that beautiful, brilliant moon above you. You can place it in your visualization within your heart center, that area we were tapping and spreading from. You may want to ground it lower in your Apana region. But choose somewhere, whatever comes is fine. And with each inhalation, notice its brightness, its brilliance, and as you exhale, just relax with that sensation. And as you do, I'll do a little bit of chanting. And this chant is in honor of the moon as a nourisher of healing plants as well as ourselves. Om Oshadhaya Sam Vadante Somena Saha Ragnya Om Oshadhaya Sam Vadante Vadante Somena Saha Saharagnya Ragnyeti Ragnya. So a few more breaths, visualizing the moon, staying connected to your breath. bring that energy to any part in particular of your own system that you feel needs some healing. And then if your legs are straight out, please bend them again so that the feet are on the floor. Knees are bent. And bring your arms closer to your body, palms facing up for now. And as you inhale, bring your arms up from the side to shoulder height. And then turn your palms down. And we're going to twist again, very casually and dynamically. So when your next exhale, bring both knees over to the left, turn your head right, keep your feet on the floor, and then come back with the inhale to the middle. And as you exhale, go in the opposite direction. So knees are coming right, head left. One more time, moving from side to side. Always center on the inhale. Spine is centered. Always twisting on an exhale. So this next time, twist in the same way and stay for 3 breaths on each side. Please remember that if that doesn't feel appropriate, you can move dynamically as we just did. Or you can stay for less breaths. So 3 rounds of breath on each side. And then when you inhale and come back to center, I'm going to do one more time. But we're going to stay for up to 5 breaths. So up to. And I'll give a variation if you're feeling that you'd like to go a little further. So please feel free to just stay, just as we did, up to 5 breaths. So when you exhale, drop the knees to the left, turn your head right. And if you want to deepen the stretch and feel ready for that, take the top leg that's bent, which would be the right, bring the knee closer into your body and straighten the leg so that the right toes possibly can be grasped in the left hand. And if that doesn't work comfortably, you can always straighten the leg. It is on the floor, and just hold the thigh or the calf. Right? We don't want to create any more tension. So you can try, you can also release it and bend the knee again. So after your 5th breath, if you're holding the toe, release it and bend the knee back in. And come back to center on your inhale. And then as you exhale, turn to the opposite side. Again, you can stay right here. You can straighten that top leg Bring it towards that arm on that side, possibly grasping the toes, maybe just holding onto the ankle. But be sure not to pull and force anything. The bottom leg is still bent, just as if both knees were bent and twisted. And then again, release after your fifth breath. Come back to center. And Apanasana again. So exhaling and bringing the knees in close to the chest. Arms are bending. As you inhale, guiding the knees forward. Same as before. Several rounds. One more time. Drawing the knees in on the exhale, nice and slow. And then on the inhale, guiding them forward, placing the feet down. Roll over onto one side. And then bring yourself up to a seated position with your legs straight out in front of you. So you can bend your knees. We're going to bend forward a little bit. Just by raising them a little, or if you want a little extra cushioning because you feel tight in the back of the legs, you can do that as well. Or you can keep them on the floor. You can do this in a chair very easily. Inhale your arms up and exhale. Again, try to keep length in your back. You can touch your toes or your legs. And just do this dynamically. Inhaling up and with each exhale, bending forward. Up with the breath. Bending forward as you exhale. One more time, up. And as you exhale, bending forward. This time we'll stay. Have your eyes open, looking at your toes or towards them. One more breath. And then coming all the way up as you inhale. And just lower the arms down this time as you exhale. Let's come back to a seated position where you're comfortably cross-legged. So again, that could also be sitting up on a little bolster or blanket if that's helpful to open your hips up. It could be sitting in a chair or on a stool. The idea is we want to be stable in our seat, comfortable so that our spine is supported, and we can be sure that we're present again, but in a very easeful way. This is Sukhasana, comfortable cross-legged position. And we'll finish, I'm going to come a little closer to the camera. We'll finish with a brief breathing practice called Shitali breathing. And some may already know this. The idea here is we breathe in through the tongue. So normally we're breathing in and out through the nose. Here we're using the mouth to regulate our breath. We protrude our tongue in a crow fashion. If that is not doable, you can purse your lips and just have your tongue resting behind your teeth. the idea, we'll just turn to the side. Spine is nice and straight. We breathe in through the mouth. You just lift the head a tiny bit, nothing like this. Okay, just to move the neck around a little bit. Tongue goes in, our head neutralizes, so our chin is dropping back down a little bit towards the chest. And then we exhale through both nostrils. So we're in through the mouth, lifting the head a little, neutralize the head, close the mouth, and then we exhale through both nostrils. Okay, this is Shitali breathing, or if you're pursing, it's Sitkari. Same function, might look a little different. So please close your eyes, and we'll do about 5 or so rounds. So wherever you are, please just do 2 more rounds in the same way. Try not to rush any part of it, just like we don't rush our movements. And also please remember, if the breathing practice is something you'd rather not engage in for some reason, or you're aware of some reason you shouldn't, just sit and freely inhale and exhale. So after you finish the round that you're on, let's just do that. Sit comfortably, place your palms wherever is helpful to you. And take a few more breaths without any regulation. This is also important after you do something like this. You want to just sit, let your breath come back to being natural and unregulated. And give yourself a few more moments to check in, see how today's practice resonated with you, what your experience is, so that going forward on your own, or if you're able to join next Saturday, you have some feedback on how to approach your yoga practice. And we'll finish today's practice right there. Then as always, if you have any comments or questions, you can enter them into the chat. I've also, told Laura, who's hosting us at Middle Country, or Amber, if you have some other questions you'd rather ask privately, for any reason, you can reach out and email me as well. Okay.
Thank you for the nice relaxing hour. That was a great yoga session.
Sure. I'm glad you liked it, Laura. I'm glad you can join with us. You're welcome. Somebody is writing thank you. Thank you for coming. Maybe you can bring a friend next time, or maybe you did already. Who knows? So yeah, next